College campuses have long been a hotbed for intellectual discourse, a place where students can engage in lively debates and express their opinions freely. However, in recent years, this ideal has been challenged by the growing concern over hate speech. While many argue that free speech is a fundamental right that must be protected, others believe that hate speech has no place in our society. In this video, we will take a closer look at the debate between free speech and hate speech on college campuses. We will explore the various perspectives on this issue, from those who argue that free speech must be protected at all costs, to those who believe that hate speech should be prohibited. We will also examine the impact that this debate has on our society and our future. So, sit back, relax, and join us as we delve into the complexities of the campus conundrum. The debate between free speech and hate speech on college campuses is not a new one. However, in recent years, it has become more contentious than ever before. On the one hand, there are those who argue that free speech is a fundamental right that must be protected, even if it means allowing hate speech to be expressed. They argue that any attempt to restrict speech, even hate speech, is a violation of our First Amendment rights. On the other hand, there are those who believe that hate speech has no place in our society. They argue that allowing hate speech to be expressed creates a hostile and threatening environment for marginalized groups, and can lead to real-world harm. They argue that the harm caused by hate speech outweighs any value it may have as a form of expression. So, where does the truth lie? The answer is not as simple as either side would like to believe. The reality is that the debate between free speech and hate speech is a complex and nuanced one, with many different factors at play. Let's take a closer look at some of these factors. One important factor is the context in which the speech is taking place. For example, a speaker who is promoting white supremacy at a rally on a college campus is likely to have a much different impact than a student who is expressing their views on a controversial topic in a classroom setting. In the first case, the speech is likely to be seen as a direct threat to the safety and well-being of marginalized groups, while in the second case, it is more likely to be seen as a legitimate form of expression. Another factor is the impact that hate speech can have on marginalized groups. While some may argue that hate speech is simply a form of expression, the reality is that it can have a profound impact on those who are targeted by it. Hate speech can lead to feelings of fear, isolation, and even physical harm. It can also create a climate of hostility and intolerance, making it difficult for marginalized groups to fully participate in campus life. Education is an important aspect of addressing the campus conundrum, as it can help to promote a culture of respectful dialogue and mutual understanding. By providing students with the tools and knowledge they need to engage in productive conversations about controversial topics, colleges and universities can help to create a more inclusive and supportive campus environment. This education may take many different forms, from diversity and inclusion training to workshops on effective communication and conflict resolution. It may also involve bringing in guest speakers or hosting events that promote dialogue and understanding across different perspectives. Ultimately, the goal of education is to help students to understand the impact that their words and actions can have on others, and to encourage them to engage in respectful and productive conversations that promote mutual understanding and respect. By promoting education and awareness, colleges and universities can help to create a campus culture that values both free speech and the well-being of all members of the community. In conclusion, the campus conundrum of free speech versus hate speech is a complex issue that requires a nuanced approach. While free speech is an important value, it must be balanced against the need to create a safe and inclusive environment for all members of the campus community. By adopting policies and procedures that balance these competing interests, and by promoting education and awareness, colleges and universities can help to create a campus culture that values diversity, inclusivity, and respect for all. Hate speech is a manifestation of prejudice and bigotry that can have serious consequences for individuals and society as a whole. It can lead to the marginalization and exclusion of certain groups, and can even contribute to violence and conflict. As such, it is important for individuals and institutions to take a stand against hate speech and work to create a more inclusive and welcoming environment for all. At the same time, it is also important to protect the right to free speech. Free speech is a cornerstone of democracy, and allows for the open exchange of ideas and the free flow of information. However, this does not mean that all speech should be protected. Speech that incites violence, discrimination, or hatred towards others is not a legitimate form of expression and should not be tolerated. Ultimately, the campus conundrum between free speech and hate speech is a complex issue that requires a multifaceted approach. It is up to each individual and institution to take responsibility for creating a campus culture that values both free expression and respect for all members of the community. By working together, we can create a more inclusive and just society for all.